All right, so in types, you can make your page size any custom thing you want it to be, and that's very powerful for making board game components and not just math papers. But it's not the most intuitive thing in the world. There's a couple little tricks to get it going, so here's how I do it. So I have some basic images defined, which are just like rendered right now. You can see I define the images and then I just render them. Pretty simple. But to get them on custom pages, I'm actually looking to do something like this: 1x2 rectangular token, because this is a board game component. Thankfully, types lets you just specify inches, so you can really easily use a set rule here, which will just customize the behavior of all different pages. So we can do set page, because we're targeting page, and then width 1 inch, height 1 inch, or well, 2 inches. Okay, and that looks good. And then we should see if we put these all in pages. Let's do page. Actually, let's not do it like that. Let's replace this with page, and then go like that, and then go like that. So now we should see these Helens be on different pages. Let's check. Yeah, this looks great. 1x2 inches. You can do a couple of other things here. So these aren't centered, which I don't love. And that's pretty easy to do as well. All we have to do is basically within each of these pages center the content, and you do that with the place function, so it'll look something like place center plus horizon, which is just like they're both custom anchors, and you could define you can add them together with the plus operator. It's been overridden. And then let's go like that. And I think I started the macro there. Yep. Okay. So then these should be at centers. Okay, so that looks a little better. Another thing is this doesn't seem to be the problem here, but you can set the margin of the page to 0, and that sometimes can help, like looks like it did in this case. So that centered these very nicely, actually. And yeah, so that's how you get custom page sizes. And it's really nice to have custom page sizes for exporting things, but it's also sometimes nice to have them in blocks rather than pages, because sometimes you want to add like one component to the page and another component. So for instance, right now I'm also working on this ship piece, which if I preview up is like a ship and it's got some cargo spots. And I want like the Helen, I want a spot for people to store their Helen like on the sail right here. But I can't currently put that Helen in because it's a page component. So if I were to import it, let's see, and types imports are pretty simple syntax. So let's Helen dot type, I guess. And then if we try to put Helen anywhere here, like just reference it. What did I call the function? I guess there is no function. I guess I'm just placing pages directly. So there's the problem. Instead of a page, let's actually make it a block. And so block. And I guess it's not margin, it's inset for blocks. And so each of these, I guess I'll make this a function. So I'll do let tile equals, and then it, and then that'll pass directly to that, and then it'll pass it into the block. So now we can basically define these all as tiles instead of pages. So let's page place with tile, and then go to the end, delete that. Okay. And okay. And why is this complaining? Unexpected argument. Oh, because we're doing this center plus horizon, which technically should be a place argument inside of this, so that's annoying. But place center plus horizon, and then oops, like that, and then we can get rid of this center plus horizon. What's the best way? F to that L, df, comma. Okay, that was bad. F to that, T, comma? Okay, well that got rid of parentheses and didn't get rid of the commas. So not perfect, but not terrible. So now if we look at the the page here, we should see something like this. So they're all in their individual blocks, and we could add a border to this to make it more clear, actually, which I think is it border or is it outline? Let's add it after the inset. Outline, yeah. Let's do 4 pixels. Outline, depth, indent, target, title. It might be border, actually. No. Let's check the docs on block. Yeah, outline. Doesn't actually have it. Oh, it's stroke. Okay, stroke. And it might want like points instead of pixels. So then we should be able to see what our Helens look like. That's pretty nice. Okay, so now they're in blocks instead of pages. Let's throw them onto the ship's sail. So that can pretty easily be done. And I want to export each of these. So let's do let No, that's not how I want to do it. I basically want to move this and then make each of these wrapped. So image slash tile image. Okay, and that's good. So then these should all be exportable, and I should be able to import them within ship and then do like let's see, I guess it would be Helen's. Let's see, I don't want to import. Okay, so real mystery phantom, and this is really bad practice because I'm gonna forget what those mean. So I'm gonna on each of these add the word Helen. So Helen dash. Okay, so now it should be a lot clearer what I'm defining. Helen real. What's the error here? Expected function found content. Okay, I don't call it. So yeah, there we go. Now we're getting the real Helen. I think it should technically be Helen mystery, because on the ship, where is my old model? It was defined, yeah, something like that. They're all scavenged for parts, but it was kind of like that. So let's move that like into the sail. So that can be done with a place. Oops. Center plus horizon. Not perfect. Not perfect. But better. Maybe just do this with some dy dx. So in the place function, you can add offsets. So let's dy, it should be up a little more. It should be like negative 14% up. Okay, that is a lot better. And then dx, like 4% to align it with the sail. Maybe 7%. This really just guess and check. Okay, 6%. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. And so now I have printable Helen tokens, and I can put like a little slot for it somewhere on the board. And that's the idea with componentizing the board game, is I'll be able to print these as separate 1x2 physical tokens, and then I'll also have like little slots for them to be put on these ships. And you can see the same thing. I don't know if I have like gifts somewhere. Gift.type. So basically, all the GIFs here will kind of slot into places on the ship. And I use the pretty much same tactic. So the GIFs are individual components, and I just borrowed this and I put it all over the ship so that they can be stacked on. And yeah, it's just really nice because if I ever want to change the size of the gift, or I ever want to make all the GIFs square, like the ships will just reflect that size pretty immediately. So yeah, hopefully you learned something about types, content aligning, and the size of pages and whatnot. I'll catch you next time.